Hey, look, guys. You know what I got to do now? I have to come up with. Oh, this is Phyllis, by the way. You can't see my face, I know. I have to come up with 3 pies, 2 pumpkin and 1 cherry. And the cherry pie needs 2 crusts, and the pumpkin pies each need 1 crust. So I have to make 2 recipes for 2 crusts. And this calls for 2½ freshly milled soft wheat flour. And this, whoop, everybody awake now? Dinner bell's ready. Dinner bell works real well. And a teaspoon of salt. Okay. Oh, I should not have used iodized salt in that. It's okay. I'm not putting any yeast in it. It's okay. And whisk that together. And now the fun thing. After you whisk that together, you're supposed to put a pastry cutter, use a pastry cutter to work the butter in. But here's the thing, you have to have 3/4 cup of butter, okay? And I froze the butter. All right. I put the butter in the freezer. It's a good place to keep butter. Not. But it's a good place to keep butter if you're going to make pie crust. And it's also a good place to keep butter for an extended period of time. If you do a lot of baking and you need a lot of butter, then you can order huge quantities and freeze it and just kind of, get it out as you go along. But here we go. We need, it says 3/4. This is a 1/2 cup. So this is a 1/2 cup and I need half of this. But I'm going to grate this butter. And I've never done this on film before. I might have to stop this, but while I'm grating the butter, I want to talk to you about getting along in this world with people who don't want to get along. It's not their fault. Don't get mad at people who bully or gaslight. Sometimes people are just so angry. They don't know how to treat normal people. Well, when people are angry like that, something has usually happened to them. I know people that have had stuff happen to them. I'm one of those people. But then it just takes a lot of therapy and counseling. Sometimes you gotta take a little anti-anxiety drugs. Oh my, look at this. Is that not amazing? I did not know butter would act like that. That is so cute. Shaved butter. I don't think I'm going to sit here and shave all of this butter. Besides, it will melt by the time I get ready because I've got to work it into the flour while it's still cold. I should have done this and put it back in the freezer. I should have done this while it was easier to do. Okay. I'm going to stop the camera and pick up later. Okay, my advice to you is that if you want to grate your butter, do it over a cutting board or some wax paper or something, and that so you can, it went all over everywhere, and then it just melted onto the, but if I had it on the wax paper, I would have had, but this is what I ended up with. Oh, I have more than this. Wait a minute, there's some down here too. Yeah. I ended up with this butter, grated butter. And now what I have to do is I have to blend it in to the flour and make so that the butter and the flour become one. And the flour will look like it's, well, I'll use their words. It resembles coarse cornmeal. Okay, so what the process is, you want your butter to be very, very cold. You can have it very, very cold, cut it up into small pieces, and then work it into your flour like this. But you even want your flour cold. When I mill this flour, it comes out warm. So I stick it in the refrigerator or the freezer for a little bit. And so, because we want everything as cold as it can be. I've got some ice water sitting here waiting to, I need 7 tablespoons of ice water. Now, most of my ice is melted out of my ice water, but that's okay. It's going to be cold. Shoot, I need something to scrape it off with. See, it's getting between my... This is a pastry cutter. If you don't have a pastry cutter, I believe there's a method for using 2 knives. I don't know, I guess you put a knife in each and cut. I don't know how that works. I've never tried it with 2 knives. I've always had a pastry cutter. Okay, stick that in here. Now see, it's this is what it means, resembling coarse cornmeal. Okay, and then add the ice water. Seven tablespoons. 7. And then what are we going to do that? And stir it into a ball forms. Okay. 1. I don't know what that was. 2. 3. 4. 5. 6. 7. I don't know why I didn't have my spoon ready, but I didn't. Now we've got to stir this until a ball forms. I might have to add some more. I pitched it out. No, I didn't. This is where I got in trouble last time I made this recipe. A ball never forms. See, it just keeps staying a crumbly mess. It says add ice water, stir until mixture forms a ball of dough. And it's not. Then you turn it on to a lightly floured work surface. Well, I can't even get to that point. And I'm telling you, because I had this same problem, I'm going to add another tablespoon of ice water, because I know last time I did this, it was way too dry. I'm going to do something else too. I'm going to stick my hand in there and try to squeeze it into submission. Come on, why aren't you forming a dough ball? I don't know if you can see what's happening. It's just not. I'm going to put another thing of water in here. I tell you, I think there's just something wrong with this recipe. I really do. Or it could be something wrong with my measuring. But this took 9 tablespoons. And I can tell it's getting better with the 9. Yeah, I'm able to form a See, I'm able to form some dough now. See that? That's working. Okay, let me just kind of mash this into a ball. What I'm doing now is I squeeze it all up into a ball, and then I broke it back up again. Apparently, I need a dough hook. Apparently, I am not strong enough to do this with my hands. Okay, I'm going to form it into one big ball. But I'm supposed to divide it into 2. Okay, so I'm just going to, instead of doing that, I'm going to divide it into 2 equal portions. Okay, using your hands, flatten each portion into a smooth disc. Okay. All right. I have to make two of these recipes tonight. Okay. Oh, this was supposed to be a lightly floured surface. Okay. Here we go. This is workable. It's not right. It's not what I remember. I used to do this when I was a stay-at-home mom, and I wanted to earn the right to stay at home. You see, we were raised with the work ethic that if you don't work, you're not producing. So because I suddenly found myself as a stay-at-home mom, I felt like I needed to do things to earn my place, which was a lie, but it made me bitter. But I did it. And I made my own baking mix with like Bisquick, and I would use this method. And my own baking mix, my own pies. I would peel My oldest son remembers to this day, peeling an apple, and it would make this big long string, and he would be on the other end eating it as fast as I could peel it out. That was so cute. He was a precious boy. Okay. Of course, he wasn't always precious all the time. All right, I'm going to roll this out into, what did they call it? A smooth disc. Here's a big old chunk of butter that didn't get. This is supposed to be a smooth disc, like a smooth operator. Okay, we roll it out as like a. Okay, using your hands, flatten each part and just sprinkle with flour on. Working with one disc at a time. Cover the remaining disc with. Okay. I gotta cover that with a paper towel, a towel, so it doesn't get dried out. Okay, all right. I'll sprinkle this with some flour, and then I just get to make it into the shape of a pie. Okay, now the pumpkin pies, of course, just need one pie crust. You can probably see how it's splitting over here. And I just have to roll this out thin enough, oh my, to where's that tool I had? It's sticking to the bottom, and so when it does that, it doesn't move when I roll it out. So I have to put some flour down. There you go. Because you see, if I'm pushing it on the top and it doesn't, and it can't move around on the bottom, it's just going to stick and not get its shape. So you want to keep it floured on top and bottom. See how much easier that moves? See how it kind of just moves with it instead of resisting it? And I've got to patch up these. And remember, this is just flour and butter, and you can just move it and patch it when you see, because you don't want any So anyway, I did a lot of things by scratch when I was at home with the children. And because of that, I didn't feel like I had enough time to spend with them because I was just too busy. There you go. Now I just have to work with it. I'm going to work with it and make sure that there's, because this has got to be pretty. And so I'm going to go around the edges like that and make sure that it's got a pretty, it doesn't have to be beautiful, but you know, we don't want any gaps. We don't want any broken teeth showing. And see, this didn't, I didn't push this over far enough, so I'm rearranging, kind of treating it like putty right now. You can do that. See? Right, like that. So basically I was an emotionally absent mom. But you know, they recovered. They survived. It wasn't the ideal environment for them, but they survived. We never lied to them. We taught them the commandments. Ta-da! Ready for the pie filling to go in there. Actually, I think that turned out just great. I am proud of this. Hallelujah. Thank you, Father, for making this work. And may everybody that was watching it feel confident to do their own. I love you. Keep the commandments. Be the bride. Shalom.